Harry was an angry little fellow. He was often rude with people around him. Harry didn't like being polite with people. His parents and teachers often lectured him about using words like thank you, sorry, please, etc. However, nothing they said or did affected him. Whenever he wanted something, he would simply snatch it or throw a fit to get what he wanted. If anyone asked him something, he would simply make fun of the other people and walk away. One day, Harry was playing in his outhouse with his cat. An old woman was passing by his house. She requested Harry to give her directions about a particular house. "Can't you see, old woman?" scorned Harry. "I am playing here. Go get the bell and Mom will tell you." Hearing this, the old woman turned red with rage. She cursed Harry. "From now on, whatever rude word you utter would leave an ugly scar on your face. Go away!" shouted Harry and continued playing with his cat. Suddenly, the cat flung its paw and scratched his forehead, giving him his first scar. Now, it so happened that couple of boys were playing outside. Their ball fell in Harry's outhouse and they came to get it. "Look, here comes the blind squad!" laughed Harry. "If you boys can't keep your ball in control, why play?" Hearing this, two of the boys climbed the outhouse. They punched Harry in the face and left with their ball. Harry had another scar on his face. Unable to take it, Harry went inside. When his mom saw him, she asked what had happened. Harry retorted, "What do you care? Go do your kitchen work." Saying this, Harry rushed towards the bathroom to wash his face and this time hit his nose. At night, while the entire family was having dinner, Harry asked his little brother, "Hey retarded, give me that fork." Little Tom placed the fork near Harry's hand. But the moment Harry ate with it, he cut his lips. "Look what I've done, idiot!" said Harry angrily and rushed towards his room. As he was in a hurry, he slipped from the stairs and hurt his eye. Mom and Dad became worried what had happened to Harry. But none of them had the courage to talk with him. Harry was both angry and in pain. He didn't like himself when he saw his face in the mirror. Harry started thinking about the whole thing. He was angry that every time he said something rude, it hurt him. Suddenly, he heard a knock at the door. It was Father. With tears in his eyes, Harry said, "Please, Dad, leave me alone." It seemed Harry had grown tired of being rude and getting punished for it every time. Surprisingly, The moment he uttered the word please, the scar on his forehead disappeared. Harry realized what was to be done next. The next morning was the beginning of a new life for Harry. He talked politely with everyone, and with each polite word, his scars disappeared. That evening, while Harry was in the outhouse, he saw the same old woman. He rushed to and said, "Thank you, madam." The old lady smiled and said, "I hope you won't forget this lesson ever." Adam keeps his bedroom neat and tidy. However, it wasn't always that way. Adam and his family shifted to a new house. It was bigger than the previous one and had bigger rooms as well. Adam got the best bedroom of all. It had a window that faced the road. Mom decorated it with toys and books. It was all neat and tidy, an envy of every boy in the neighborhood. On the first day in his bedroom, Adam played all he liked, but went to bed without having tidied up. The next morning, when Adam got up to get ready for school, he was amazed to see that all the toys and books had been put back in their proper place. He was sure that no one had entered his bedroom, but just didn't know who did it. Nonetheless, he went to school, thinking that Mom might have done it. That evening, the same thing happened. Adam went to sleep without tidying up his room. The next day, when he got up, his room was all tidy and neat. Assuming that Mom might have cleaned his room, Adam carried on with his day. The same thing happened that night. Adam went to bed without putting back his toys and books. As he was about to sleep, he felt someone pulling him out of the bed. He tried to jerk it off, but the thing came back to him again and again. Adam got up to see what it was. Suddenly, he saw his toys and books pushing him out of his bed. The next moment, he found himself on the cold floor, with toys walking all over him. A teddy bear came up to his face and said, "Hey Adam, how do you feel on this floor?" "What are you trying to do?" asked Adam angrily. "Nothing," said a soldier. "We are just trying to make you feel the way you make us feel." "What does that mean?" asked Adam, rubbing his eyes. "Why are you surprised?" asked the robot. "You always leave us so far from our proper place, the place we feel most comfortable and happy. Do you have any idea how difficult it is for us to climb back up onto the shelves?" If we happen to stay on the floor, you walk all over us the next morning, breaking us here and there. Tonight, you will get an idea how uncomfortable and cold the floor is. Next came the pens and pencils, poking their tips into Adam. You enjoy breaking our tips with your shoes? It's time you have a taste of them. Adam looked around and saw all his toys and books revolting against him. They were angry that he handled them in such an ill-mannered way. Adam started recalling how comfy and content he felt in his bed, and how bad he felt when he had once slept in a chair. He realized how badly he had treated his belongings. He got up from the floor with a jerk and realized that he was still in bed. It was a bad dream. He looked at the clock and it was 5 in the morning. Quickly, he tidied his room. By that time, it was 6. When Mom entered Adam's room, she was surprised to find it so neat and tidy. Adam wished her good morning and promised that from that day on he would sleep only after tidying his room. Vanna and Omi were cousins. Both were beautiful and smart, yet the two were very different. Vanna was kind at heart, while Omi was a snob. Vanna always treated people with respect, while Omi didn't think that respect was necessary. For this reason, everyone appreciated Vanna, while her cousin hated her out of jealousy. One day, Omi and Vanna went on a tour with the school kids. Vanna lost track of other kids and lost her way in the jungle. While finding her way back, she came upon a cottage and went inside. The cottage belonged to 4 dwarfs. The dwarfs welcomed Vanna and asked her what she was looking for. Vanna told them that she had lost her way and wanted to get back with her friends. The dwarfs asked her to spend a day with and do as they asked her to do. In return, they promised to help her. Vanna agreed. The first dwarf, named Family, commanded her to cook dinner. Vanna gladly agreed and respectfully served everyone dinner. Then everyone went to bed. The next morning, the second dwarf, named Friends, requested her to help him clean the house. Vanna happily lent him a helping hand as well. Suddenly, she saw the third dwarf, named Neighbors, shouting angrily at the birds that were eating the corn he had planted in the garden. Vanna went to him politely, asked him to calm down. Then she set up a scarecrow, shoo away the birds. The fourth dwarf, named Strangers, saw the whole thing. He made fun of Vanna's scarecrow as it indeed appeared funny. Venna treated him with respect as well and shared a good laugh. The day passed soon, and all the four dwarfs were happy to see that Venna treated them as well as their temper with respect and kindness. It was time for her to return. The dwarfs blessed Venna with all the beauty and riches in the world. They gave her a bag full of jewels, and within the blink of an eye, Venna was standing next Omi among her school friends. "Where have you been?" asked Omi. Venna told her all about her experience with the four dwarfs and showed her the bag full of jewels. "All I had to do was spend a day with the dwarfs." On hearing this, Omi grew even more jealous of Venna. Nonetheless, she asked her politely to show the place where she got lost. Venna took Omi to the spot where she had lost track of her friends. Before she could guide Omi further, she was off into the woods. Soon, Omi too reached the cottage and went inside. She saw the four dwarfs. With a haughty attitude, she said, "I have lost my way and will spend a day here with you. Now, when I leave, you will have to give me a bag bigger than the one you gave to Venna, or else I will make you even shorter." The dwarfs didn't respond but let Omi stay. When family commanded her to cook food, she snapped, "Do I look like a servant to you?" The next morning, friends asked her to help him clean the house. "What?" Omi shouted. "I am not doing such a low, dirty job." When Omi was trying to catch an afternoon nap, she heard neighbors shouting angrily at the birds. "Knock it off!" Omi shouted back. "I can't stand you or your birds." Soon, neighbors set up a scarecrow. When Omi saw it, she scorned and made fun of it. Suddenly, strangers caught her abusing neighbors and started scorning her instead. This aggravated Omi, and she started making fun of his short height. The day passed with Omi shouting around the cottage. When it was time to leave, the dwarfs said, "You have been a very disrespectful girl. We can't give you much." Within the blink of an eye, Omi found herself next to Venna. Her clothes were torn, her face had ugly stars, and she had a bag full of hay and stones. The other kids made fun of her, but Omi kept quiet. She had understood that whatever happened with her was due to her disrespectful nature. Peter and Handy were twin brothers. Though they looked the same, but their hearts and minds were completely opposite. Peter lived to enjoy life. He never cared for people around him. All he was concerned about was his happiness. On the other hand, Handy liked helping people. He was good at heart. He liked taking care of his grandparents doing chores for his mom and dad, and even helping Handy complete his homework. His friends and teachers too appreciated him, as he was always ready to lend a hand. It was summer vacation. Peter and Handy decided to go trekking with their friends. The first day of trek was good, and the brothers enjoyed a lot. Unfortunately, the brothers lost their way during the second day of the trek. Peter started walking deep into the forest while Handy was following him. After a while, the brothers lost track of each other as well. On the way, Peter met an old man who begged him for food. Peter simply refused to give his share to him. Next, he met a little girl who had hurt her leg. She asked him to help her get back to her village nearby. Again, Peter simply refused to offer any kind of help and carried on his way. Now, though Handy couldn't see Peter, but he was actually just a few yards behind him. When he met the old man, he offered him all the food he had and went his way. Soon, he came across the little girl as well. He helped her stand up, offered her some water, and even helped her get back to her village. It was evening by the time. Handy decided to start again. The little girl's parents advised him to spend the night with them. "We will go with you to help you find your brother and friends," they assured him.